Okay. Howdy, folks. This is John McLeod with CNA Saturday Night. Um, this week, I just wanted to go over the Saints Row video game, the Saints Row reboot game that was just released this past Tuesday. And there's been a lot of strong feelings about the game, and I just want to give my 2 cents on it: the good, the bad, and the ugly of the game. First, the good part. The good part of the game is they have a lot of new features and a lot of other stuff that you end up doing. Uh, unlike unlike some of the other games on Saints Row, they have the wingsuit. There are certain situations where you use the wingsuit and you can just glide all over the area. Um, it's I mean that was a lot of fun. Um, but first and foremost, I just want to just go over the summary of the game. The game is pretty much um, I guess what's been pretty much been explained. It's basically a reboot, just a brand new perspective, a brand new take on the game. With all new characters, you have the main character, the boss or whatever. Then you have Kevin, who's like the party raver guy. Uh, you have uh, you have Nisa. She's like the Hispanic girl that's into who's into art and whatnot. And then you have Ali. He's like the computer Eli, not Ali. Eli. He's the computer geeky type. Geeky type. Um, a bit afraid to get his hands dirty, but throughout the game, I mean, he does some pretty badass stuff. And they basically were like they're basically miscreant criminals uh, in this desert-based town city. It's kind of like it's kind of it definitely has like a southwestern United States Mexican uh, culture type of vibe. And on a lot of missions, they have these hidden history that you could do, and it basically the story basically had the city itself has basically its own background, its own story of a lot of made up fictional based historical figures that's um that's basically a part of the game, which I thought was pretty cool. And then you have the brand new gangs. You have the brand new gangs that came in town that you have to go through. I guess you could say four new gangs if you count the police or whatever. But you have the Los Panteros. They're more like the hulky, burly, muscle type of gang. A little bit similar to the Brotherhood from Saints Row 2, and the Luchadors from Saints Row the Third. So a little bit of a similarity there. I mean, they have the muscle cars and whatnot. So I mean, they're a pretty cool gang. They have they usually have the big burly guys carrying bazookas and whatnot. And there's this one mini boss that they have. And I believe it's this woman who just swings around this big sledgehammer that is that it do that is engulfed with fiery flaming capabilities. So so yeah, I had a lot of fun. I mean, tangling with them. So they're pretty cool. And then you have the next game you have is the Idols. They're pretty much like this party, and they're this anarchist punk raver type of group that claims to be against capitalism and the establishment, but pretty much it's just basically they use that as an excuse to kill. The mini bosses, what I've learned from that game, they have their mini bosses called the Collective, where they basically have this flash bomb weapon where they shoot it and the screen just goes all like you're pretty much like you're pretty much in a rave. And I thought that was pretty cool, but it can get annoying at times. Uh, and I believe that one of the characters, Kevin, I mean, he had a little bit of a run in with the group. Um, so yeah, I mean, they're very colorful, and they have like the I don't know what you call them, the digitized masks and whatnot. Um, their vehicles are pretty cool. They have like the road rash. I don't know if anybody remembers the game Road Rash. It has like a road rash, uh, Mad Max type of feel. So so yeah, I mean that was a pretty cool game to fight. And last but not least, you have the marshals. They're basically this private security firm that is owned by this old cowboy white dude named Atticus Marshall. It's pretty much named after him, and his family pretty owned the has owned the company for generations. And a lot of the story pretty much out of all the gangs, the Marshall organization definitely plays a huge role in the story because spoiler alert, the character you play, the boss, the character you play was an employee of the firm of the person of Marshall, and of course he gets fired for a lot of different reasons, which is pretty much the catalyst of what started the Saints game, this version of the Saints game. And they what I like about them is they have really cool weapons, and the vehicles are pretty awesome. Um, it is it's a little bit of they remind me a lot of the Stag unit, the darn it, the strategic, I forgot what's called, the anti-gang unit that was from Saints Row 3 that was led by Cyrus Temple. They remind me a lot. The Marshall reminds me a lot of them, except they're more of a um, they're private firm. I mean, the vehicles are pretty much the same. Uh, they have the high tech vehicles. They have the car and I guess you could say like the Jeep. Um, of course, they have the tanks that is pretty much that's a little similar to uh to Stag, the anti gang unit Stag from Saints Row 3, and they have the VTR, the VTOL jets. They pretty much have the fighter jets the same way. So so yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the Marshall gang, I guess you could say it, but they're pretty much they're not really a gang. They're pretty much like I said, a private army type thing that does things for high end clients or whatever. So so in that, I mean, they had a lot of cool weapons. Uh, one of my favorites is mainly the Marshall's weapons. They have this one pistol that basically shoots that shoot that sort of acts like a rocket. The bullets acts like rockets. Um, a lot of shotguns were pretty good. It had some pretty cool shotguns, and of course, one of my go to weapons is the hand cannon, which pretty much is the same as the pistols that they've had in past Saints Row games. So so those were pretty cool. Oh yes, the soundtrack of the game. The soundtrack is pretty good. I mean, they of course the one station that they have uh the hip hop station, the old school hip hop station that they have. I mean, they had TLC, MOP, KRS-One, DMX, Far Side, Onyx. Uh, yeah, they had a pretty darn good list. A really good list of uh of different of various different songs from the classic hip hop days. They have a modern day hip hop station called Flex. Uh, they have a couple of Latino Hispanic radio stations where they play nothing but when they play a list of songs from. One has like a modern day pop, uh, reggaeton. I guess you could say it's reggaeton type music, which is yeah pretty much based on today. And then you have traditional, old school traditional Latin music. So so yeah, the soundtrack is pretty good. The soundtrack I enjoyed the soundtrack. Um, the missions, some of the side missions that they do, has been a lot of fun. A lot of missions that I am familiar with. I mean, they have the mayhem, fraud. So those are pretty cool. I mean, just to play th- just to play those types of missions again on a brand new Saints Row game. So those were really fun. So yeah. Next is the bad part of the game. I guess a lot of people, the bad part of the game is just getting used to the new characters, getting used to the fact that they aren't that they didn't that they stood in favor in not um, doing a continuation of the original Saints game, where you had, of course, the boss from that from that series to, of course, Johnny Gat and Kinsey and Matt Miller and Sean D and Pierce. So that was probably one of the biggest. That was probably one of the bad parts of the game. Is just that part, and it's just basically uh, I guess that's one of the main parts of the game. One of the main parts of this game is just that it's just a huge departure from what people are used to seeing, and of course the character, of course the mainly, of course the main characters and what they stand for. You know, they have the whole, I guess you can say the social justice warrior type of thing, which a lot of people might not like. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit indifferent on that, but but yeah, I guess I would say that was probably the bad part of the game. And the ugly part of the game is there was a lot of issues with bugs and glitches. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there's definitely has been a lot of bugs, and the game has frozen a lot, uh, which has caused a huge uproar, a lot of backlash on that alone. So so bad that I've heard that the game, even though I think the game is pretty good, but there's been a lot of backlash on the game to the point where uh, Violition and Deep Silver that make reportedly, I've heard from some other blog or some other news site that they may consider giving the property away to another company or whatever. But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what happens from there. But yeah, I mean the ugly. Yeah, I guess that was mainly the ugly part. Is just the fact that the game is so glitchy and so buggy. There's been a lot of bugs. I can recall one bug where my character just had like they had like it was had like dual wielding submachine guns on its hand, and it wasn't even really guns. So it's just like, yeah, yeah, that was the biggest bug I caught that I saw, and the game did freeze on me a couple of times over the past few days. I just assumed it was I just assume it might have been from me playing the game too long. But yeah, I think that's one of the main. Well, but on a good note, I mean they have Violation has a they are aware of the issue, and they said that there are some patches and some updates that will fix and patch up all those glitches and bugs or whatever. They said somewhere within the next few days, few weeks or whatever. But but according to a lot of people, to my understanding, from what I've been reading from social media and from what I've seen from a couple of YouTube videos, I mean, the damage has already been done. So it's not really looking good for Volition and Deep Silver, for the people who created the game. I mean, a lot of there's been a lot of tweets on Twitter, just basically just bashing um, uh, the developers on how bad the game turned out, and of course, some developers have been responding and has been responding on that or whatever. So everything on that part has just been a bit it's been a bit it's been bad. It's been bad. I'm not gonna lie to that. It's been bad, but hopefully at the least they hopefully they'll be able to fix the software bugs and the glitch issues um within the next few weeks or whatever. Well, I mean, I'm hoping that they get that sorted out. So there you have it. That's my show. I just wanted to just dedicated this show tonight, basically on that, basically on that game. Yeah. So I guess that'll do it for me for the Complete Nerd Authority Saturday night show. And I always do this. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do for my next show. So I don't know. It's usually a spontaneous thing. So until then, I will see you guys next week. Peace.